Hello, I'm Jason Vento, the level designer behind this project I call the Lyra Fissure Arena. This is the second project in the series where I design maps for Lyra's third-person shooter multiplayer gameplay. This is to gain experience building multiplayer levels in a rapid prototype environment with a specific gameplay framework in mind, that being Lyra's, as well as gaining familiarity using Unreal Engine 5 and building levels using Megascans. To begin, I'll cover the hard goals I had for this project, which were to build this map with 6v6 team deathmatch in mind, as well as to prioritize good map flow and verticality as well. I wanted to make a map that could be played against bots, but also have ways to raise the skill ceiling for good players through map design via alternative routes that rewarded quick but smart decision making. It's also important to me as a level designer to understand the gameplay before I make a map in order to get the most out of the experience. So I wanted to quickly cover how Lyra plays to better explain my design process. There are only a few key things to note though. Firstly, that Lyra is a third-person shooter with a camera that allows players to peek over cover or sightlines without exposing themselves greatly. This affects how players approach gunfights and when they choose to engage in combat. Secondly, there's no passive healing or loadouts. Health and weapons are pickups only, which greatly affect map balance and player decision making. This pushes players to move around the map, collecting pickups they need, as opposed to camping or setting up in their spawn. Lastly, players have access to a dash that looks simple at first, but offers great movement potential at the risk of being exposed. This is the greatest challenge to build around since the dash allows for instant verticality and is inaccessible to AI. Therefore, I use this dash as the main method of raising the player's skill ceiling by creating routes only accessible by this dash with high risk and high reward, giving players the option to take shortcuts to power positions or power-ups at the expense of being exposed. Now that we understand some of the major affordances and constraints of the gameplay, I wanted to walk through the map and talk about the design goals of each section in the map overall. My main goal for this map was to create layers of verticality and to use various spaces to change the different forms of combat. The best example of which is probably this ridge in the middle of the map and the cavern below it. The cavern offers close quarters combat with plenty of cover, and the top, the ridge above, actually offers long range engagements and map control, but is more exposed and open. What's really great about this ridge in the middle is it acts as a great separator that divides the map into two equal halves. The top part of the ridge also breaks up sightlines substantially and restricts pathways between both sides of the map, as opposed to the cavern below it, which is very open on both ends and allows for easy traversal between the sides of the map through the bottom mid. I also wanted to make sure that each level of verticality could be easily accessible to bots and players, especially for bots because they can't jump or dash. Uh, Therefore, there are a variety of paths and walkways that allow for entities to flow through the map unimpaired. A good example of this would be the walkways by the massive support column. They act as a multi-layered connector between the top and the bottom layers of the map, having several specified areas for dash jumping, as well as accessible stairs and cover that allows players to easily get a hold of high ground. I really wanted to focus on creating a map that, in the moment-to-moment gameplay, could provide several options for players in how they want to express themselves. I even implemented this mindset while building the spawn zones for this map. When players spawn on either side of the map, they are given the choice between going for the upper or lower levels of the map. This allows players to quickly adapt to enemy pressure and to go where highly contested areas of the map are very efficiently. This mindset is especially true for the Shrine, a spawn zone that offers many flanking routes on both the upper and the lower levels, giving players that spawn here powerful access to the side routes of the map that offer substantial cover and means of repositioning. That said, I hope you gained some insight into my thought process working on this project and where it succeeds. I'm excited to take what I learned here into the next project in this series making levels for Lyra.